side. Obviously it's not been much of a problem, and Glenn, we've seen him a couple of times over the last month on the YouTube and on the PDC.TV channel, and a good solid player. I mean, Jamie's got to be careful here, because this guy certainly is no mug on the dartboard.
Yeah, the honey monster he's called. You can see it on his shirt.
58.
And spearing, throwing first, not making the most of it. Jamie Lewis made his debut at the match play last year, and it was off the back of an incredible run at one of these European Tour events. Went all the way to the final in Gibraltar. Took out Kevin Painter, Adrian Lewis. Couldn't manage to do the business in the final against Phil Taylor, but you could say that about pretty much anybody who's lifted a professional dart.
Yes, that's for sure. No, we were there, Dan. Good tournament in Gibraltar. We'll be back there again a little bit later on in the year, in end of June or July, I believe. So don't forget to follow us. That'll be on the PDC.TV channel on the YouTube.
You can subscribe to that. All the European Tour action, all the interviews from all the major tournaments. As Jamie Lewis finally gets a dart into that treble bed, follows it up with a second, and he's looking for a third for a maximum. And there it is, Jamie Lewis, first 180 of the game.
Well, you'd have been surprised if he didn't put the third one in there. There was so much room, and those first two darts were absolute perfect guides. It would have been a bad miss if he hadn't. And again, we see how perfect that's sitting in the treble 20. And that's why it's so easy to follow. Now he's going to go for the ball. He's going to come down with the 17, sorry. Well, the treble 17 would have left him double 16, but all of a sudden, from way behind, he's put himself in the driving seat in this leg, and it is against the throw.
Yeah, 5 perfect darts, 5 in the treble 20, and that has bought Jamie Lewis the chance to nick this first leg on Spearing's throw. I went for treble 14. He's in 52, and that leaves him double 16.
34.
And he's missed it.
When you require 62.
It's not the way he would have wanted to go, but he should get a shot at a double.
It's probably 18s now, and hits it. And he's going for that treble 10 to leave him double 16, but over-pitched. And then as soon as we knew he went up top, could only have gone the 18s route. So then 5 perfect darts from Jamie Lewis still didn't produce the leg.
100.
Yeah, Lewis, nicknamed the Rasta. I think wisely he's abandoned the dreadlocks he used to have.
When he coming into the World Championship, he grew it, and it was a bit of the old 70s footballer, the Brendan Batson type. And for all you youngsters out there, you haven't got a clue who Brendan Batson was. And
you're thinking more Benoit Assou-Ekotto nowadays.
Yes, yes. And the big fella that's now moved to Man United from Everton.
Marouane Fellaini.
Fellaini, that's the name I was looking for.
Yeah, we've not quite got a hairstyle to match that in darts at the moment. Peter Wright does his best.
Yeah.
But certainly in style he matches it, not in volume, I would suggest.
Well, I travelled in the bus from the airport this morning. We had the Premier League in Bournemouth last night, where Peter put in a good performance, let off Dave Chisnell a little bit, but had a 6-all, got a point, which was the all-important point. And his outfit last night was a real light turquoise colour. And we're doing some decorating back home, and I had my wife with me, and I think we found the colour for our conservatory. And I told Pete that this morning, and yeah, he found it quite humorous.
Snakebite turquoise.
100.
Yeah, taken to the Premier League like a duck to water, it seems. Peter Wright just carrying on after an incredible year for him last year. Big year for Jamie Lewis as well, not only the debut at the match play and that run to the final in Gibraltar, as he looks at 141 here. It won't happen, but he also got to the Players' Championships, snuck in at 32nd in the Order of Merit. Unfortunately, the downside of that is you play the top seed, and that was Michael van Gerwen. Ended up losing 6-1, but this is all vital experience for the young man. No less than Phil Taylor has said this man has got a big, big future in the game. And that is one of the reasons why. 36 with no bother at all, levels the match up, one apiece.
Yes, you mentioned the seeds, Dan. I mean, it's great to say you're in the top 16 of the world, you know, and you're seeded, but the worst place to be is 15 and 16, you know, because you are picking up those top 2 seeds. Sometimes you better be outside of them 16 and get a bit of a lucky draw and take on number 11, 12, 13 seed and keep out of the half. And you don't meet until the semi-finals or quarters, but it's just the way it goes. You know, you get up there to do your best every single time.
Glenn Spearing played in the first Euro Tour event. He beat Ross Smith, another good young player to get there. He beat Aaron Monk to get here in qualifying. So he's in a habit of taking out these young guns. Jamie Lewis will be hoping to put a stop to that little run.
Yeah, I think once Glenn gets used to the PDC side of things, I think we're going to see him an awful lot more. He's a good player.
100.
And it's getting tougher and tougher out there. I mean, when you watch the qualifiers like I did, and some of the darts you're seeing in them is incredible.
100.
Over 3 days of the UK Open qualifiers, so it was 6-9 darters?
6-9 darters. Yeah, when players moan, I'd say, you know, if it was easy, I'd still be playing to nick a few quid. And the reason I'm not is because it's hard out there. It's a tough score for any up-and-coming dart player or any professionals that's on the slide. It's even tougher.
Yeah, you go chat with Keegan Brown, a young man who's beaten Phil Taylor a couple of times in the last 12 months.
He certainly has.
They're not scared. Jamie Lewis now looking at 108. And this would be for a breaker throw. Just needs the one treble. And he's got that. So 51 left. Single 19 for double 16. Just takes a little moment to steady himself. He's missed that by quite a distance inside. Spearing, you would think, 2 darts at a double here. Down to his last one.
20.
And he's not found the target, so Jamie Lewis now. Double 8, 3 darts in hand for a 2-1 lead and a breaker throw. The 22-year-old looking to take an early advantage in this one. All the way across the board to double 4. And there it is. He enjoyed that. And the Rasta blasts his way to a 2-1 lead.
Yes, Glenn. 2 darts at double top. We talked about the standard in the game nowadays. You just can't afford to let your opponent back to the board to clean the leg up. And you talked about Keegan Brown, who's beaten Phil Taylor twice in the last probably 6 months. Josh Payne, who played earlier on, he beat Phil Taylor. Ricky Evans, who beat Ronnie Baxter in the World Championships, he beat Phil Taylor last year. So, you know, the youngsters have really coming on in this game. It's great to see. A big future the game of darts has with these youngsters.
Yeah, and the likes of Max Hopp couldn't make his way through Q School early this year. You would think maybe a few years ago you'd have quite fancied him. Apart from the fact he'd have been about 12. But if he was the player he is now, you quite fancy him. But the standard, up and up and up.
92.
And Jamie Lewis.
It did make me laugh. Peter Manley, the chairman of the Players Association, he played in Q School this year, and he was actually sitting there and saying he didn't think that the standard of Q School was as good as last year. And then he realised that over 4 days he only got 1 point. So I kind of kindly reminded him what his standard is like if it's gone down, which he went, yeah, well, perhaps I said the wrong thing there. But it is a tough score. You know, it is. There are easier draws out there. We know that. So a lucky draw is what you need, especially first round. But it's tough, and then that's only the easy bit. You know, Now you're going to mix it with the top 128 in the world.
When you require 135.
Exactly now, 135. He was in 110. Needed treble 20 for bullseye. Bit frustrating. He looked a decent life in that 25 for him as well.
59.
But Jamie Lewis, 90. And this is just a hold throw to stop Spearing breaking back and leveling the match.
20s is the route. Yes, he's gone there now. I wouldn't force the treble 20, which he's done. Is that in? A double 5, I think he wants. And that's unlucky. A lot of players would have overpitched that dart to make sure it didn't deflect off the flight, but he went for it. But now Spearing, double 8. Now double 4, missed 2 darts in a previous leg. He's missed another 2 darts at a double. And he's let Jamie Lewis in for the big one. Just about to say, honestly, I'm just about to say, don't miss the big number. What a mistake that is.
Yeah, there's a reason nobody likes taking out numbers like 5, and that is he's building a wall in front of that double 2 that he needs Spearing, moving all the way across and sneaking it behind it.
Fifth leg is going to throw first.
Well, he didn't make it easy for himself, but Spearing levels the match up. And Jamie Lewis, he may still be thinking about that 18 he hit when he needed the single 1. He's got to put it to the back of his mind, but that 140 from Glenn Spearing will just be a little reminder that he's now ahead in the match. Good response on the lad from Cardigan.
85.
Yes, this is where we're going to see some character out of Jamie Lewis. You know, he's going to be despondent over that last leg. And got to put it to the back of your mind, and you just got to attack and keep attacking. He looks pretty focused to me, but that suggests a little bit, perhaps not, perhaps a little bit of tension in the arm.
85.
Decent recovery on his last dart. We did see in that run that I've already mentioned in Gibraltar all the way to the final of the Euro Tour event that
55.
he's got some real guts. It went to deciding legs against big names Painter and Adrian Lewis, and he came through those, hitting 180s in the deciding legs of both of those matches. All right, he had a little bit of luck in those games as well, but he made the most of it.
60.
Just struggling in this leg a little bit though. He's Glenn Spearing. Fires in 100 to leave himself a finish.
Do you know what, Dan? You see it so much when we study the game as closely as we do. You see it so often. A guy that lets a leg off, you know, misses the big number, or misses loads of darts in the double, and his opponent comes in. And then the amount of times they lose the next leg, so they're still thinking about it. And of course, the opponent is thought, right, I've had a freebie here, now we can go on. And this leg proves it. You see it absolutely so many times.
Yeah, in a game where all of these guys can throw 9, 10, 11, 12 dart legs on a pretty regular basis.
135.
Most of it comes down to what's between the ears and how well these guys can deal with the situations they're facing. As Spearing looks to ramp his bling dart into the double 16, fails to do so, and now Jamie Lewis set that up brilliantly with his previous visit with a 135. 3 clear darts at double top. The first one's high. Can he work his way down? Well, that's no improvement. Last dart.
20.
Unable to find the target, and the Welshman may be going behind here. Just a fraction in. Too much.
To be honest, they were all 3 on the wire as well. You couldn't have put them any closer. But Jamie gets another chance. Now, he's going to miss just on the outside of double 10. That's a little bit too far. I mean, the 2 at double top were a long way off to be called a guide, and that's not much closer. He's really got to come 3/4 of an inch. And again, 6 clear darts at a double. Well, no one wants to take this leg.
Not sure if that may have clipped to the flight from one of his previous ones, Jamie Lewis. It seemed to go in an awkward angle, but Glenn Spearing certainly doesn't care. back in the lead. 3-2, halfway to a second round place against the two-time world champion Adrian Lewis, the man that Jamie Lewis beat in Gibraltar in the semi-finals.
I think those darts are double top from Jamie. The first two were so above, you know, a good inch away, that it becomes ineffective for the third dart because it's not a guide. And the same with the double 10. The first one was so far away, he's using it as a guide, and that's not the right thing to do. It's, you know, perhaps even move a foot to the left. So this next dart is a totally individual dart instead of using the previous darts as guide. I mean, 6 darts at a double. He's now got to get that out of his head.
Yeah, you'd almost prefer just to take those 2 out and have your last dart with nothing else there.
You're absolutely right, Dan. It doesn't matter how much you try and think, right, you know, this is the only dart I'm throwing, but you can see where the other dart is, and you're led towards it.
That's a good leg from Spearing here. A couple of 140s. He's given him the advantage. And Jamie Lewis is struggling all of a sudden. He's missed some doubles, Lewis. It's allowed Spearing to take advantage. That isn't the greatest visit in the world, but it's left him on a potential 2-darter. Lewis might be forced to take this out, and it ain't going to happen. .64 left, probably come down for 16s.
Be interesting to see which way Glenn goes. The 25 is normally the route. Now the 19s leaves him the bullseye. And that's not a bad guide, that first dart, but Jamie's going to come back now. Be interesting. Do you know what? I tend to go for that 16. The tops has not been good to him. And he's done that. The double 16.
Nowhere near all told, but it doesn't matter. Upturned hands from Jamie Lewis. Not quite sure what's going on in his doubles, but a double 8 levels the match up.
95.
It was ironic, Dan, that the big 16, the dart at double 16 was right beside the big 16 dart.
There's almost no deviation from his first dart.
97.
It is a frustrating game, and we've talked so many times as young Jamie fills it up with a maximum. If you're going to hit a maximum, hit it against the throat. You've got to break your opponent at some certain time, and there the darts, not very often to straight tons, break your opponent's throat, especially in these tournaments. But he's got to follow it up, Dan. He can't afford 3 bare 20s.
Unfortunately, that's exactly what he's got. Now, it does get him down to a finish, but it's a massive one. But Spearing doesn't look, well, important last dart. However, 155 isn't that much better than 164. And Jamie Lewis may think, 6 darts I've got here. If I can just do it in 6, that looks to be in the treble bed.
Now, I like the 25 dart there because, let's have a look to see if Glenn's going to take this out. No, he isn't. If it had hit a 25, he comes back with 2 guaranteed darts at a double. Now, I know if he hits a treble 8 or a treble 16, he will do. Percentage-wise, I do like the 25 with that 3rd dart.
Yeah, and he is only going to get 1 dart at a double here. And this is for a breaker throw at a crucial time in the match. Double 16, he was a long way off in the previous leg, and he's overcompensated, really. Missed it a long way inside in the previous leg. Oh, double 18 for Glenn Spearing. Double 9, it's a tricky switch, but it's one he's made with absolute ease. Glenn Spearing takes a 4-3 lead.
Yeah, we see the Dutch. We was talking about last night on Sky Sports, where the Dutch on 121, the first dart to go for the bullseye, Barney does. As we see Jamie, is that 2 in? That's another maximum for Jamie Lewis. On 121, going for the 25 with the first dart, I cannot work that one out, because it means the second dart has got to be the perfect dart in a treble. But when you've got one dart in your hand and you want from 81 to 85, for me, that's when you use the 25. Guarantees you those 2 darts instead of 1. And they're a perfect example. Jamie could have had a chance to break the throw with 2 darts instead of the 1.
Yeah, he is mentored by the legendary former world champion from Wales, Richie Burnett. A man who certainly knows his darts.
I think there's many other things Jamie Lewis could perhaps avoid from doing in terms of taking Richie's advice.
He is a character, Richie.
And look at this from Jamie Lewis. That was Burnett-esque, the first 2. Not having a great deal of trouble in this particular leg. Set fair to level the match up and basically mean it's a best of 3, but he's got to get over the line here. Treble 15 for tops, you would think. Well, he's gone 19s. Maybe he doesn't like that top after a number of misses earlier in the match.
He's going for the treble 14, double 16. But he's set it up, so he's going to get 3 clear darts to level the match up.
There doesn't look to be a great deal of pressure.
45. Jamie,
Glenn Spearing, in fact, there's not a great deal at all. So 3 darts in his hand, looking at double 16. Just want to work his way in. And it was a decent marker, one that he used, and that is 4-all. We're in a best of 3 here now. Spearing has the advantage of the throw, and that is not the time you want a dart to bounce out, and potentially of the treble. Heartbreaker for Glenn Spearing, the honey monster.
Oh, I have to say, comes on to one of my favourite bits of music.
121.
Give us a blast of it, Rod.
Not really, no. We don't want to turn away the actual listeners and viewers that we have got at the moment, I'm afraid. I'm not the best on the karaoke. Well, in actual fact, I've never been on a karaoke.
Look, stay tuned. The Dutch Darts Masters goes on for the next 2 days after this as well. You may get to hear Rod Harrington sing at some point. Can't promise it. May have to apologise for it if it does happen, as Jamie Lewis sticks 2 in the treble bed. And he has wrestled the advantage from Glenn Spearing. This could be a crucial moment.
Yeah, he's got the throw. Jamie Lewis has just got to punish it now. Got to go to the 19s, keep away from that flight and stem. And again, he's going to have to come up to those 18s, or is he going to square one in? No, he's come up to the 18s. Done exactly the right thing. Went for the open target on dart 2 and 3. Although he's left a bogey number, it don't really matter now. 6 darts from 162, and what a time this would be to break the throw of Glenn Spearing.
Yeah, a break here in 6 darts, and Jamie Lewis will be throwing for the match and a place in the second round of the Dutch Darts Masters.
And he's going to get at least 1 dart at the double to break that throw. Treble 10, the normal route, although treble 14, he tends to go. Oh, he's hit the 33, leaves him 31. 33, sorry. 1 for 32, double 16. Yes! A great last dart from Jamie Lewis. Breaks the throw of Glenn Spearing, 5 legs to 4, and now steps up. And do you know what? In a decided leg, you settle for a level ton here every day of the week. Put the pressure on your opponent.
Yeah, 15 darter will be telling himself, make Spearing do something extraordinary to break him. Just maintain your composure, Jamie. Earned the opportunity with that 66. Check out in the last leg. Hitting double 16 on the last dart.
16.
Spearing can't take advantage of that weak opening visit from Lewis. Now, can he assert his dominance in this match? Again, he's just below the treble bed with his first dart. That doesn't help him out.
16.
Should he have switched there, Rod?
Absolutely. 100% after the first dart should have switched. And the other two proved it because they slammed into the first dart and he had a visit without a treble. And Glenn Spearing's led him off. And yet he's been doing it very well, switching to the 19s, even 18s, the big targets. See where this one goes. That's a better dart, just above the treble. Should be able to work himself down to the treble from there.
16.
Well, yet to see a treble in this leg. What could be the final leg of the match. Although Jamie Lewis, well, there's the first one, and Glenn Spearing follows it up with a second. And now the pressure is on Jamie Lewis to deliver. He knows if he loses this leg, Spearing will have the throw in the decider, but that is exactly where he wants it to be. And so is that. And Jamie Lewis, we said he's got guts, we said he's got bottle. Oh, just a 140. Even a 180 wouldn't have left a finish. Just reminded Glenn Spearing that he's not going to stroll into a deciding leg here. Going to have to earn it. And again, much like the last leg, score under 200. He's got 6 darts to get down.
Opened the door, hasn't he? He's opened the door for Glenn Spearing. Glenn's got to have a visit with at least one treble. He's going to do that, and I don't miss a big number. Well, another treble gives him 2 darts, and this is a massive shot for Jamie Lewis. Previous 3 were a visit without a treble, forced into this 1-3-3, and he's not going to take it out. He's going to be disappointed if Glenn takes this out. He had the game in the palm of his hand with the throw. So now the double 18, he prefers that route than a double top. Now the double 9, he hit this before, and now he's split it. A chance for Jamie Lewis to finally close this game out.
Yeah, 2 darts missed by Glenn Spearing to take this all the way to a deciding leg. Can Jamie Lewis make sure that that missed double 9 is the last dart that Spearing throws in this game? Can he win the match on the double 9 that Spearing missed? Yes, he can. And Jamie Lewis, the Rasta, the 22-year-old from Cardigan, edges through to the second round. A 6-4 victory over Glenn Spearing. And it sets up a clash with Adrian Lewis, the 2-time world champion, the Premier League star. We'll be back in just a moment with Mark Walsh against Jarkko Kimura. This is the Dutch